So let's talk about entitlement flips, land development, land entitlement flips. How does it work? First off, you got to find a piece of land in an area that is right for development, where you have builders looking for inventory, looking for lots. So one of the best things you can do is you can find a piece of land from a seller who's willing to sell, and you could just take that land and you can sell the contract to a builder, or you can just buy the land and sell the land to a builder. You really never want to close on the property until you get improvements or entitlements. But if it's a very competitive market, very competitive piece of land, and you know that you can at least do something with it that's going to at least cover your costs, cover your basis, then you can go ahead and buy it. But I never recommend closing on a piece of development property until you get all of your entitlements. What are entitlements? Entitlements are your permits and your approvals. So there's zoning approval, maybe annexation out of a county into a city, something like that. Then you have zoning approval. That's part of the entitlement process. And then permits, the ability to build. You're entitled now to build the property is when you get all of your zoning approvals and your permits in order to build the land. And in order to get your permits, you're gonna have to do construction drawings that shows the sidewalks, the streets, the utilities, all the components that go into developing the property, improving the raw land so it can be built upon by builders for houses or commercial or whatever it is. So the land entitlement process is the process of getting all of the approvals necessary to subdivide the land and sell off parcels and build on those parcels individually. So one way you can do it is you just get the raw land, you can tie it up, you can flip that contract to a builder. I've seen that. The biggest one I've seen was for $10 million, it was a big piece of land. It was basically a contract assignment or a wholesale where an investor tied the property up. He had a relationship with the family. This was a friend of mine that did this years ago, had a relationship with the family that owned the land. He tied it up, flipped that contract for the property to a national home builder, and made a $10 million assignment fee for flipping that contract. So that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is you take the property through zoning and get zoning approvals and then sell the contract, or go ahead and buy the land at that point and resell it back to a builder or a developer. That's another phase of the development you can do, where you don't actually put the improvements in, you don't put any roads or utilities in. Builders will do that now because they want a lot of times to control that process, and they want to be able to get lots online quickly. And then the final phase would be you go ahead and do all the improvements, and you hire the contractors to come in and do the roads, utilities, curb, gutter, all that kind of stuff, the silt fence, all the things that you have to do. And then you can convey the lots out to a builder or a developer that wants to do commercial. And that is a much longer process. So the entitlement process can take a year or two, depending on the area you're in, to get the property potentially rezoned. And then zoning approval, there are some parcels of land that would be called minor subdivisions, where you just have to basically do survey work, establish boundaries and lot lines and things like that, and record a plat. And then you can go ahead and convey that property or the individual pieces of property. So a lot of different ways to do it, but that in a nutshell is the entitlement business, the land flipping business. Those are a couple of methods you can use. It's a very streamlined process when you have the right team, you have the right knowledge, skills, and abilities to be able to take advantage of these types of things. That's what I cover in my courses, my mastermind, and my coaching program. I help people do these types of things all day long. I've done a ton of land development projects in my career, and that's kind of one of the focuses moving forward. There's a lot of competition for land with builders, build for rent communities. The real estate market has changed, so the for sale product is a little different, but builders are still building. They're building for sale product, they're building for rent product. So there's still a lot of opportunities in the land development, land entitlement business. So you got to educate yourself. You got to have the right team. You got to know what you're looking for, the right kind of properties. You got to know what to pay, how much to pay for them, how much the builders and developers are going to pay for the finished parcels or the approved parcels before they have to put the infrastructure in. And that's the kind of stuff that my courses, mastermind, and coaching will help you with.